All right. So you've been digging into plant-based diets, right? Looking especially at how they affect weight management. We're going to break down all the important stuff,
Sounds delicious.
right? And we're going to uncover those awesome benefits backed by science and, yeah, let's be real, any potential downsides. So you can make the best choices for your health. No sugarcoating here.
Absolutely. It's all about being informed, really understanding what this way of eating could mean for you personally.
Exactly. It's all about you. And one of the things that really jumped out for me in this research was all about feeling full after you eat. And I know that's something you're thinking about, especially with, like you said, weight management in mind.
For sure. I mean, it's kind of common sense. Plant-based foods just naturally have fewer calories and way more fiber. And fiber is like this secret weapon for feeling full.
Okay, so tell me more about this. How does fiber actually make you feel full? Like, what's the science behind it?
Basically, picture this. Fiber adds bulk to what you eat, but no extra calories. It's like, imagine a friend who comes for dinner but just picks at the salad. They make your plate look full, but they aren't adding to your calorie
I
count.
like that analogy.
Right, and that feeling of fullness, that can really be a game changer when it comes to cravings and watching those portion sizes.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But it's not just about tricking yourself into feeling full, right? It's got to be good for you, too.
You got it. We're not talking about diet food here. These plant-based foods are packed with good stuff. Nutrient-dense powerhouses. Take spinach, for example. 1 cup, and you're already exceeding your daily dose of vitamin K. You know how important that is for your bones?
Oh, wow. I didn't realize spinach was such a vitamin K superstar. And strong bones are important for everyone.
Totally. And this nutrient density, that's like a trademark of plant-based eating. We're talking fueling your body the right way. Vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, giving it what it craves, not just empty calories.
And since we're talking all things good for you, this research also dives into how plant-based diets and heart health are connected. And I know you're all about the bigger picture of well-being, so I think this is huge.
You're right, it's a big deal. The science behind it is really cool too. Basically, research shows that vegetarians might have blood pressure readings that are 7 points lower than those who eat meat, and that's a big difference.
Wow, 7 points. That seems like a pretty significant change for just, changing what you eat.
It is, and it shows how powerful food can be.
Okay, you've convinced me. Lower blood pressure, feeling full and energized. Sign me up for a team plant-based.
But I gotta be honest, changing what I eat that much, kind of overwhelming. Any tips for where to even start?
It's true, it can feel like a lot, especially at the beginning, but that's where this research is so helpful. It's got this practical roadmap, like you don't have to change everything all at once.
Okay, that makes me feel better already. Tell me more about this roadmap.
So one link is starting small. They call it Meatless Mondays. What do you think about that as a starting point?
Meatless Mondays. I kind of like it. Seems manageable. Like dipping my toes into the plant-based pool. What else is on this roadmap? Another good one is prepping your meals in advance. That way you're setting yourself up for success all week. When you've got delicious plant-based meals already in your fridge, it's way easier to choose those over takeout when you're tired or in a rush.
Oh, tell me about it. Late night cravings are my weakness. Meal prepping does sound like a game changer for someone like me who's always on the go.
It can make a big difference. And speaking of making things easier, the guide also talks about how important variety is. A lot of people think plant-based eating is super restrictive, but
Yeah.
it's really not.
Yeah, there's so much out there. Fruits, veggies, beans, lentils, nuts, seeds, tons of flavor combinations to try. It's like a whole culinary adventure.
Right. And that variety isn't just more fun, it's important for making sure you get all the nutrients we were talking about. But like with anything new you try with food, it's important to know what the challenges might be.
Yeah, true. Even with all the good stuff, there's always a flip side. What does the research say about potential downsides of plant-based eating?
So one thing they highlight is you got to be aware of certain nutrients, ones that mostly come from animal products. Vitamin B12, for example.
Okay, makes sense. So if you aren't eating animal products, how do you get enough?
Good question. The guide suggests thinking about a B12 supplement. Something from a trusted source. It's an easy way to make sure you're covered.
Got it. B12 check. Anything else to keep an eye on?
Iron is another one. Plant-based foods definitely have iron, but our bodies don't absorb it quite as well compared to the iron from meat.
Interesting. So what's the best way to make sure you get enough iron on a plant-based diet?
It's all about smart combinations. Pairing things like lentils and spinach, which have iron, with foods that are high in vitamin C, like bell peppers, helps your body absorb the iron more easily.
Love it. It's like a power couple for iron absorption. Those kinds of practical tips are so helpful. Any other nutrients we should keep on our radar?
Omega-3 fatty acids, they're really important for a healthy heart and brain. And while you can find them in things like flax seeds and walnuts, the research suggests a plant-based omega-3 supplement could be helpful for some people, like ones that come from algae.
Good to know. Okay, so we've covered B12, iron, omega-3s. Now, what about protein? That's the big question I hear about plant-based diets all the time.
It's a really common concern. But don't worry, you can absolutely get enough protein on a plant-based diet.
Okay, phew. What's the secret? How do you build that plant-based protein powerhouse?
It's all about variety again. Include a mix of protein sources throughout the day. Think legumes, lentils, tofu, tempeh, quinoa, nuts, seeds. They all add up.
I like it. Building your own protein all-star team. And speaking of teams, this is all super useful info. But before we wrap things up here, I think it's important to remember that everyone is different. Our bodies have different needs.
I totally agree. That's why it's always a good idea to get personalized advice. The research actually emphasizes talking to your doctor or a registered dietitian. They can look at your health history and your goals to make a plan just for you. Yeah.
Exactly. Especially if you're dealing with any health issues already. Better safe than sorry. Right. It's all about being informed and making the best choices for your own health journey. So we've really dug into this whole plant-based thing, all those good things it can do for you. And yeah, we talked about some of those potential bumps in the road too, but I'm curious, now that you've heard all this, what really sticks with you? What feels most relevant to like your own journey?
It's like having all the pieces, right? But now you get to put them together in a way that makes sense for you. That's the exciting part. It's not about being perfect. It's about figuring out how to eat in a way that makes you feel good and that you can actually stick with.
Love that. It's like having all the ingredients, but you get to be the chef. You're in control of your plant-powered meals. And, it makes me think back to what we talked about at the beginning, your goals around managing your weight.
Yeah.
How do you feel like this new info connects to that?
Well, I think what we talked about with fiber is really huge. All that stuff about feeling full and satisfied. It's not about like restricting yourself or feeling deprived. It's about choosing foods that actually make you feel good.
Right.
So you have energy all day long.
Right. It's like a win-win.
Yeah.
You feel good and it's good for you. And it goes back to that idea of nutrient density too, right? Like it's not just about eating less food overall. It's about making sure every bite counts.
Exactly. And don't forget, going plant-based doesn't have to be all or nothing. You can start by adding in more plant-based meals each week, or try swapping some of your go-to dishes with plant-based versions.
It's all about finding what works for you, your life, your tastes. What are some of the big things you'll take away from this deep dive as you continue to explore plant-based eating?
For me, it's remembering how powerful plants really are. They're packed with good stuff that can really make a difference for your health. And like we keep saying, finding that balance. It's not about cutting out everything you love. It's about making choices that make you feel good from the inside out.
I love it. And hey, you don't have to figure it all out on your own, right? There are so many resources out there,
Yeah.
cooking classes, online groups, all kinds of stuff to help you on this journey.
So true. Don't be afraid to try new things. Experiment in the kitchen. You'll find what works best for you.
Well, that's about it for today's deep dive into the world of plant-based eating. We covered a ton of info, and hopefully you're feeling ready to take charge of your health and well-being. Make those choices that work for you. Until next time, happy exploring.